Here we go again with the same bullshit. It's not a Souls-like game. This shit happened to me when I reviewed Wukong. The same objection was presented back then. It's not a Souls-like game, and it's a fallacy. It's a not true Scotsman fallacy, and I have debunked that piece of shit already. But I am going to do it again. The reason why these stupid fanatics, these imbeciles, try to go for that fallacy, for that claim that it's not a Souls-like game, it's because that way they believe that my criticism won't land, that my criticism is not going to be justified. They are fucking wrong. It doesn't matter how you call the game. It doesn't matter if you want to call it an action game, because at the end of the day, I am criticizing a combat system that is overly punishing, a combat design that is overly punishing. I am criticizing the extreme difficulty of the game, the annoyance that it produces on the player. You want to call it a racing game? Fucking go call it a fucking racing game. Who gives a shit? This is the typical, that's not real communism. That's not real capitalism. Fuck you. We know what you're doing. We know it. You're not going to fool us. Now, let's go over again the characteristics of Souls-like combat. We have the typical delayed attacks, typical spam, instant attacks, roll catchers, the camera is all over the place, bosses are constantly jumping around, they usually have a parry mechanic, they can devolve into parry slopes, they have one-shots, the stats don't even fucking matter. The typical gameplay is Simon says dodge or you fucking die, or Simon says parry or you fucking die. You're basically just learning a choreography, and if you do the choreography wrong, you fucking die. They also rely on nerfing playstyles. They usually are going to allow you to build a unique playstyle, to build your own playstyle, but then they are going to try to nerf that playstyle in any way, shape or form. For example, in Where Winds Meet, they nerfed healing weapons. In Elden Ring, they nerfed parry. How did they nerf parry? There are attacks that you can't parry. They nerfed shields. There are bosses that counter shields really hard, like that bitch Malena. There are bosses that have elemental damage that go through your fucking shield. There are some cheap attacks even that go over your fucking shield. It's fucking ridiculous. In Dark Souls, they nerfed poise. You remember poise in Dark Souls 1 when it actually fucking worked? Well, poise doesn't fucking work in Dark Souls 2 or 3. And in Elden Ring, it's not that it doesn't work, it was fucking nerfed. But in Elden Ring, apparently it came back, right? Well, no, it was fucking garbage. So we never had the poise of Dark Souls 1 back. And why do you think is that? Because the developers only want to make their games hard as balls. They also rely, there's another thing that many people fail to mention. These games input read, and it was proven in Elden Ring. The game input reads. Let's talk about Wukong. Do you remember that piece of shit game? That fucking garbage? There were things that I liked about Wukong, but the combat was definitely not one of those. Wukong had the audacity to implement forced grabbed attacks. There was this fucking boss that will grab you and you will be unable to do anything to prevent that fucking grab. And that will be guaranteed damage. You will be unable to prevent that damage. On Wukong, if you increase your fucking health, the bosses will do more damage to you. It's that fucking ridiculous. One of my problems with these fucking games is that they call themselves, or they call them, action RPGs. And I hate that because stats don't fucking matter in these stupid games. In these Souls-like slop garbage, stats don't fucking matter. You can build completely tanky and you are going to still be 2-shotted or 3-shotted at fucking best. The gear that you equip barely does anything to change the outcome of the fights. The developers make a limit. The developers make a limit on how powerful the player can get. But then this limit is very tight. They will not allow you to get too powerful, or else their bosses are not going to mean anything. One characteristic of Souls-like games is that the focus is on the bosses. The bosses are basically the protagonists of the fucking game. Your main character is just happen to be there. So bosses being the highlight of the game, it wouldn't make much sense if the player was being able to just bitch slap these bosses, right? So what they do is make the player really weak, and they put these quote-unquote RPG mechanics that barely do anything to get you more power. It's all about restricting power from the player. This is one characteristic of Souls-like combat. The only power that the player has is the ability to resurrect and try the battle again. You're basically playing a game version of the movie The Edge of Tomorrow, that movie with Tom Cruise that apparently was a book and had animes and mangas. Who cares? The point is that the power of the player is that you're basically Tom Cruise and you are trying your luck again against the fucking boss, and if he kills you, you are supposed to learn from that experience and try again and again and again and again and again and again until you are able to beat the stupid boss. That is cool on a fucking movie, but it's not fun as a video game. And if you enjoy that shit, you have a mental disorder. So when people say it's not a Souls-like game, they are just being disingenuous, they are just lying, they are just trying to invade your mind, they are trying to manipulate you. They think they are clever, but they are fucking retards. They think they can fool someone like myself. Bitch, my build is completely maxed on wisdom and on intellect. You are basically trying to win a fight against a wizard. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. You shall not pass, bitch. Get the fuck out. Now, it is true that the other aspects of Where Winds Meet don't qualify as a Souls-like game, and that is why I was enjoying the game, because the other aspects of the game were not of a Souls-like game. For starters, the fucking minigames, they are fun. You don't see that shit in a Souls-like, right? You don't see a world that is alive, that reacts to the player like in Where Winds Meet, that the world is more like a Grand Theft Auto game. You don't see that in Souls-like games. Open world Souls-like games are not very common. There is Elden Ring. There is also that new game that Team Ninja made. I forgot. I think it's Rise of the Ronin. Also has an open world. There is going to be Nioh 3. I think it's going to be open world, but it's not common. And in Where Winds Meet, you have an open world that is actually pretty good looking. You find a ton of shit when you explore this world. It's a fun experience. And like I said, for me, the parts of Where Winds Meet that were fun were the ones that don't resemble a fucking Souls-like slop garbage. This is why I always said the combat is Souls-like, the combat. But these fucking weasels think that they are going to fool people by saying it's not a Souls-like just because you don't have bonfires, just because you don't lose souls when you die. Who the fuck cares, dude? This is a typical no true Scotsman fallacy. The game 100% has a Souls-like combat, and whoever says that is not, you're evil, you're a piece of shit. You're not going to fool anyone, and even less someone like myself. Souls-like combat is all about difficulty. It's a fixation on difficulty, on making the player life hard, on ruining the day of the players. That is Souls-like combat. It's the typical choreography with abusive mechanics, where RPG elements barely fucking do anything, where you feel powerless compared to what the bosses can do. You feel like shit. Your only power is the fact that you can resurrect, basically, and try again. Basically, you're immortal. That's the only real power of the player. And you will say, oh, in many games you can do that. Unless you're playing hardcore, you will always revive. Yes, and that is the point. You can do that in many games. In all games, essentially. All games that are not hardcore. So what even makes Souls-like special if their other characteristics are so meaningless that at one point you can't even compare the fucking game to Mario 1? Because in Mario, if you fucking die, you get to do the level all over again, right? It's the same with Elden Ring, with Where Winds Meet, with Black Myth Wukong. What is the fucking difference? The difference had to be the RPG elements, the RPG aspects, the power that you can get. But in Souls-like games, it's not enough. And it's not only not enough, but also the developers remove power from you. They remove options from you. There are some games that are worse than others, but it's a trend to try to nerf the player when the developers see it as an inconvenience. Oh, it's not very convenient that the player can't heal himself fully without the need of our battle pass potions. It's very inconvenient. It's very inconvenient that the player can tank hits and not get stun locked. So we need to remove poise. Oh, it's very inconvenient that the player can increase their health. So we are going to make our bosses do more damage the more health they accumulate. Oh, it's very inconvenient that this guy has mastered the art of parrying in Souls-like games, in my Elden Ring. So we are going to make it so there are attacks that you can't parry, and we are going to make the boss spam them, so not only he will spam them, but he will alternate between attacks that you can parry and attacks that you can't parry. So we are going to make the player life a living fucking hell, because it's very inconvenient that he became too good at parrying. Oh, so the player has found a way to one-shot the fucking boss? No, that's too fucking inconvenient. Let's fucking nerf that shit so we can keep abusing the player. Fuck you bitches. Fuck you. This is why I don't play the stupid games. When everything is fixated on the difficulty, on making the life of the player a living fucking hell, that is Souls-like difficulty. But also there has to be a layer of RPG or fake RPG elements around it that barely do anything. And then you have your fucking Souls-like slop combat, your fucking choreography with abusive cheap mechanics. That's basically your fucking Souls-like combat. So whoever says this is not a Souls-like, fuck you bitch. I know what you're doing and it's not going to work. Your fucking gaslighting is not going to work. It's the typical not true Scotsman fallacy. This is not real communism. This is not real capitalism. Oh, this is not pay to win. This is pay for convenience. Fuck you and you're a piece of shit.